I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the weird emphasis on different sentences, words and sentences edition. No, we're back with Avengers versus X-Men. We have 4 issues this week, none of which are primary issues, none of which really cover a lot of new ground or ground that I specifically care about.
The plot is barely being advanced here. I'm starting to understand why this crossover doesn't have this. No one's like, you must read Avengers versus X-Men. I enjoyed these books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still enjoying this crossover quite a bit. I think the philosophical questions of it are interesting. It did not need to be a line wide thing because it's a big sloppy mess.
It really is, and it's going to be interesting to get to, because I feel like we're about halfway through now. I haven't done the count on that at all, but it feels like we're about 50% of the way through. Barely anything has happened. There's been a fight on the beach, and Hope made it to the moon. And these 4 issues that we're covering won't even progress us past that, as far as I can tell. Like, we're just going to catch up with that and fill in some unneeded blanks to that story, which I find very weird.
We're going to see some fights this week. We're going to see some characterization on Wolverine that should have been done way earlier. And then we're going to see just the subplot with Marvel.
Yeah,
that's happening. Like them deciding to shoehorn in a Iron Fist and a Kree mind control plot into this crossover. Maybe not the best idea, I think. Even if I individually like that Kree mind control plot stuff just fine, it is boy, does it not really belong there?
No.
Yeah. So
and I get it. I get it. Like, they want to use the Phoenix to do stuff, and that's all interesting. And we'll talk about it in those issues. But it does seem like it's just another layer. When you see like somebody making like a chicken sandwich, and they're like, here's some buttery garlic toasty bread, and you're like, all right, and we're gonna put a chicken patty on it. Like, fuck yeah, dude, you're into it. And some mayonnaise. Like, all right, okay, cool. And some macaroni and cheese. And you're like, wait a minute.
Whoa there.
And some Brussels sprouts. And I'm like, whoa, wait, whoa, what
hold
are
up,
we doing?
Cowboy. It does have a little hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat energy to this whole thing. And to be clear, I would fuck up that chicken sandwich you just talked about.
Dude, keep mac and cheese off of sandwiches. You don't need mac and cheese on a sandwich. It's ridiculous that people are doing that. I hate it so much.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I would eat it with a fork and knife right now. I'd house it.
Dude, I love macaroni and cheese. I absolutely adore macaroni and cheese. It's one of the world's most perfect foods.
Scrawl.
It's fucking good. You don't need to have it on a sandwich. Like, I mean, just
no.
Here's the thing: make a chicken sandwich, put macaroni and cheese on the side, take a bite of each. Yeah. Like, that's you don't need to slather it on there, though.
I'm not saying it needs it.
Okay,
I'm with you. It definitely doesn't need it. I'm just saying I'd eat it. There's certain things that mac and cheese does become additive with. Have you gotten into we'll just say which comic we're talking about here someday. There's a Hawaiian cart by my house.
Okay.
I've been like last few years I've been real into Hawaiian food.
Mm-hmm.
And the main thing I get when I get Hawaiian food is just the lunch plate or whatever they have it, which is some kind of absolutely delicious meat with a sauce, and then rice, and then macaroni salad.
Okay.
And you don't eat them, like, they all get served separately on the plate, but it's best to mix them.
Okay.
And all together, it's fucking unbelievable. It turns into this weird, greater than the sum of its parts.
This feels like putting coleslaw on a barbecue sandwich, kind of like that. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it.
Yeah, not dissimilar. Like, you're getting a little bit of mayonnaise action, with your flavored meat.
Yeah.
It's very tasty. So
maybe
I decide what I'm having for lunch today. I don't know.
I've taken on the role of side man which sounds a little weird now that I say that out loud. Sides. How about sides guy? There you go. That's better.
Yeah. Oh, you're somebody's side man now.
Yeah, but Autumn likes to make huge amounts of meat. And then so we've been barbecuing, we've been smoking meat, and I was like, yo, we should do some coleslaw. And she's like, I fucking hate coleslaw, I'm not gonna eat it. And I'm like, oh, well, I should make some coleslaw for me then. So I made homemade coleslaw the other day for the first time in my life, and A, it's super easy, and B, it is super fucking good. Like, you can just spice that stuff up, and it's good and crunchy, and man, I just want to eat coleslaw all the fucking time now.
Coleslaw is super good, and like on a pulled pork sandwich.
Oh, dude,
Fuck.
what?
Yeah, it's all extremely good. We should at some point we're at the Days of Future cast, because we went from the cartoon to general cartoons to movies to comics. Eventually, it's just going to be food.
Yes.
And
would Wolverine eat this? That's a yes to me from Jeremy. That's a no from Gary.
Yeah. and then we just talk about the food. Like, you know, we pick a random X-Man, you know, each time. We're like, what would Storm think of this crudité? You know, and then just we answer that to get our X-Men out of the way, and then we just talk about food.
What if we actually like approached it from a real studious perspective too, and like went through every single appearance of Storm to see if she eats anything in the comic books, and to be able to try to tease out like what her actual diet is of any kind?
I just Googled the X-Men cookbook, because that has to be
a thing,
mm-hmm. And it is,
of course.
So we could go through the entire the marvelously mutated cookbook. Recipes for the X-Men, mutants, centipedes, and humans.
Okay. Centipedes, you say. Centipedes, you say. I need an example.
Yep, it's a Kindle book. So that's
is there not an example recipe from this?
No, there are, but I don't see the centipede stuff. Nightcrawler's dark rum and ginger beer blend, mutant banana chocolate mug, apple maple pancakes for a chalet in the Canadian Rockies.
Super bad. I don't like this.
Yeah, this is dumb as hell. I just don't know where the centipedes are coming from in the title.
Yeah, I don't. It's like, did someone put? If you can't put that in there as a joke without following up with actual centipede food, I'm sorry.
What is centipede food?
I mean, like leaves, right? It's just a salad, right? Like also, what centipedes just eat salads.
Oh, this did come out. This isn't just on Kindle. This came out in paperback, and it still says centipedes in the paperback version. Fuck, man. I gotta find a copy of this, because I'm really what is her job? Centipedes.
Oh wait, hold up.
Can't answer no more questions about centipedes.
I apologize. I thought that centipedes were herbivores, but no, they eat insect pests. So they eat cockroaches, flies, moths, crickets, silverfish, earwigs, and small spiders.
Are they just there in case they decide to eat maggots' external stomach?
It's got to be it, right? That's literally it.
Dude, what is happening here? All right, I'm going to bookmark this because I need to explore this later. We got to get moving. Luckily, today we're talking about Avengers versus X-Men versus the comic that's just fight, so it goes by quick.
And also, like, you know, I think runner-up for the best tie-in book of this whole thing so far. It's easily my favorite content out of all of it. So
this is real funny. There's a you know, we have the set. This one we're talking about Spider-Man versus Colossus Juggernaut. And then the very unlikely pairing of Gambit versus Captain America, which goes about how you think, but like I was very excited about that. And we get the sassy intro again too, where it's like, I didn't read issue 1. What'd I miss? And the answer is, who cares? Shut up. Like the super aggressive Q&A section in the beginning of this.
It's very
super
Doom
good.
2016 approach to plot, where, you know, I'm just gonna punch the talking head on the screen and then pick up a shotgun and start killing stuff. Like,
yeah, shut up. Gambit's fighting Captain America. Get in.
Yeah.
You know?
And we've seen bits and pieces of this fight, because this is the fight where they find out where Hope is, and that's going to end all of these fights. But in the meantime, it's Captain America's in the Savage Land looking for Hope, because Hope has split her tracker thing into 5 parts, so it looks like she's all over the globe. And he runs into Gambit, who immediately starts throwing cards at him, and, you know, it's a fight. We have a lot of fun facts in this. I don't think the fun facts in the Gambit Captain America fight are as good as the fun facts as Spider-Man versus Colossus. So
I think the reason, so the Gambit versus Captain America one is written and drawn by Steve McNiven.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know Steve McNiven wrote comics. So I can see him not being quite as fun of a writer. Like, I love Steve McNiven's art. You know, it was like the one thing about Civil War I thought was like really impeccable, was that it looked awesome. And this looks really awesome. And I imagine he just kind of pitched this because he wanted to draw this fight.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't really have a lot of fun facts or character stuff to happen in it. It's just, these two have probably never fought each other before.
Yeah.
What would happen if they did?
What happens when Gambit charges up Captain America's shield is the whole pitch of this. Like, this could be a what if episode of like that's 5 seconds long.
Yeah, like a really brief, like a tutorial in a video game. So we have it here. The first part of this is Cap, just spending the entire time on his Bluetooth talking to Tony Stark, ignoring Gambit fighting him,
which is
Gambit
which is very funny.
It's real good.
It's super.
It's actually, the whole thing is pretty good. In terms of funny.
Mm-hmm.
He dodges and everything. He throws his shield, which Gambit manages to dodge, and then charge up. Which is what we wanted the whole time.
Yep.
Everyone's hooting and hollering. Yeah.
And then the big twist of this is when they get into some hand-to-hand combat, Captain America shoves Gambit against a tree, and Gambit reaches out and is starts doing the charge thing on Captain America's chest. And Captain America is like, yo, I know your powers. Like, we both know that's not going to work. He's like, yeah, but your scales aren't organic. Like, I could still charge those up.
Yeah.
And then blows his fucking uniform up, which I think is very, very funny and great.
Yeah, good. I texted you this, but I want to explore the concept a little bit. I would have killed if this resulted in Gambit accidentally killing Captain America. Like, I would have lost my mind. Can you imagine the repercussions, like the solemn funeral? Like, Issue and Gambit just being there like, Gambit, sorry, Gambit did not understand it. It will kill him. And then just like it having to be like, listen, the Phoenix and stuff, we have all this stuff with Hope, but we also had to get revenge because Gambit killed our man. And the rest of the X-Men just being like,
I mean, if you need
sanctuary, Gambit demanded sanctuary. You have to give it to the mutant.
Gambit was never on X-Force. Gambit deserved a trial.
Yeah, give Gambit the trial. Gambit do it on accident. Him not meaning to kill the Cap.
I also just want to see Gambit like go up to Cyclops and like, I guess that serum not so super, hush yeah.
And Cyclops being like, Gambit, I'm very disappointed in you. Good job.
Good job. Good job. This was great. This was exactly what we wanted.
Good job. Why Cyclops be whispering that Gambit do good job? Him know him do. I just fucking incredible. Because you'd think it like this would really hurt, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get your armor blown up. And Gambit obviously thinks so. He thinks he's won. But unfortunately, Captain America, because I'm really married to this premise, gets up. His uniforms, I really wanted that to be how the MCU went or how the comics went. But he gets up. He's fine. And he's like, now you have my attention, and beats the crap out of Gambit.
Yes. It's pretty much no fight. And I think that I just want to call this out because you did. Like, the art here is really, really great. Like, Captain America looks fucking pissed and he looks angry. I love like his I don't really know what his skull cap being torn up and his hair showing through. All of that stuff looks super dope. And yeah, he just fucking punches him out. And it looks like maybe Gambit would lose some teeth from this punch, but we're probably not going to explore that in depth because it's a comic book and not an episode of Days of Future Cast, unfortunately.
It'd be incredible if they did, though.
Mm-hmm.
And to be like Avengers vs. X-Men teeth fall. Just like, Gambit deserves satisfaction. Gambit no talk right anymore.
We've been watching Daredevil on Netflix. We've been rewatching it, and and that's where they introduce the nurse or whatever that kind of takes care of Daredevil's injuries, and she shows back up in like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and all that. But I'm just imagining Gambit like stumbling into that woman's apartment and being like, "You do dental work?" Like that. My teeth missing. Like just not being able to talk like a normal person.
Some dental work.
Yeah.
Gambit need you to fix Gambit teeth.
And like, I can't remember the name of that person, who the actress or whatever, but her just looking at him and going like, absolutely not. Like, leave now. Like, no, please leave immediately.
Like, I live here. It's kind of Captain America, great fighter. Gambit's always kind of confusing because he's kind of a ninja a little bit. Like, he's supposed to be like an exceptional hand-to-hand combatant here, and just gets laid out instantly. Like, this isn't me being like a fanboy and saying like, oh man, not fair the way these fake superheroes punched each other. But I was kind of surprised he just went down so quick.
Well, I mean, it's the super serum, right? Like Captain America, I don't think the Gambit has the raw strength behind a punch that Captain America does.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes he can use his powers to like time travel and shit, but we're way past that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not doing that now. So he punches him and Cap wins. He's asked somebody to pick up a spare uniform. So Gambit cost him like $750 or something.
Sure.
And we get to the next fight, which is funnier and there's more stuff in it.
Yes.
Which is in Latveria. And the last one was in the Savage Land.
And it's funnier because Kieran Gillen is writing this, and he is one of the best. So
yeah, this is super good. So the Avengers have sent Mockingbird, Daredevil, Spider-Woman, and Spider-Man here.
My only real experience with Daredevil is, like the kind of classic, like the Bendis runs and the Brubaker runs and things like that. And reading him as a kid, which was, 80s and 90s stuff where he's real focused on New York. The idea that like he's an Avenger and gets sent to Latveria is very hilarious to me. I don't know why. He's fine, but it's just like you would think he would be so out of his element, like compared to all of these people seem like they would be out of their element as like world traveling Avengers. So yeah,
well, they sent them up against like Dazzler, and then who's the third X-Men that's here? It's like it's not Magic. It's somebody else who's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Because they refer to it as the lady in monochrome, but they don't actually show who it is. Is it Domino? It must be Domino. Yeah.
That'd be Domino. So that's about appropriate. But then Colossus is here as complete overkill.
Yes.
So very, very ridiculous little matchup here. But they, again, for the forces of drama here. They split off to go fight Dazzler and Domino, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
Which we don't see. Daredevil just runs off. I don't know who he's fighting.
Yeah.
See you later. They have 3 sets of heart. He literally, he's going to go try to find hope. Like he's just like,
I don't really need to fight here. You guys seem to have it covered. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Leaving Spider-Man to fight Colossus Juggernaut here. Spider-Man has fought Juggernaut a bunch of times, so this is a fun little Easter egg for that.
You would think Daredevil would stick around for Juggernaut.
100%.
Colossus. Like, yeah, it would just be like, I know it's a one-on-one fight, like, and you guys outnumbered the X-Men in this one, but like Daredevil Spidey versus Juggernaut seems incredibly fair.
Like, yeah, it's much more fair than this.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the quipping and the stuff that goes on during this fight.
Yes.
As somebody who has read a bunch of Spider-Man versus Juggernaut stuff in the 90s, it's very nostalgic to me. The very famous like X-Force crossover with Spider-Man that has this. And I love him just spoiling the fight. Like, listen, like we've done this a million times. What's going to happen is I'm going to tire myself out, but there's going to be a bunch of goo that you're going to stand in. Like you're going to land in concrete or marshmallow or something like that you're going to fall in, and that's going to be the end of you. Really, I very much like that.
Yeah.
There's also a AVX fun fact that Colossus's kidneys are inedible.
Excuse me?
Which, like, I wasn't asking. But, like, huh.
Welcome to another edition of Would Wolverine Eat That?
Yeah. I'm just like, have they done a story where Wolverine has been harvested for his meat since he regenerates?
I feel like
I'm sure they have.
They have to, right? Because it feels like such a no-brainer of a premise that I feel like it has to have happened at one point.
Like Wolverine the human larder, like you just eat his kidneys over and over.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Wolverine and Hannibal crossover that nobody was asking for.
Yeah, but it would just because the people who were asking for it would just want them to fucking not do anything.
Well, okay.
Like they wouldn't eat each other at all. They would just have sex.
I mean, Mads Mikkelsen and what's his name, Hugh Jackman. That would be a handsome couple. Like I could see. I would watch that porn, I guess, if he paid me.
I do not understand the Mads Mikkelsen is the most attractive man in the world stuff. His face has too many lines on it for me. I just don't think he's that hot. And I'm capable of finding a dude hot. Like I don't want to actually fuck Idris Elba, but I understand from an objective standpoint. Like that man is a fucking paragon of masculinity. Like, that's a good looking man. I don't get that from Mads Mikkelsen. I don't understand it.
I think a lot of it is just that the dude is, he just has like that resting handsome face where he kind of looks completely like he doesn't belong on this earth for some reason. Like he just looks like he's so above everything that it's automatically attractive. Like I don't know. I think the dude's super handsome, Gary. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I don't see it. It's Idris Elba versus Mads Mikkelsen.
Finally,
the battle of the super hunks. Who's hotter?
Send your votes to daysoffuturecast.com/contact.
Who's hotter? Which straight guy thinks which guy is sexier?
Colossus claps and causes a glass shortage for months in Latveria, which is very hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I like this Spider-Man quip of like, couldn't we settle this with the thumb war? Oh wait, you have enormous thumbs. That's a terrible idea. As he gets picked up and tossed once again. And then just lots of fun, like, you know, as he gets tossed and like banged around on some architecture, he's like, wow, that fastball sure is special. Like, just really good quips. Like, it feels weird to read them out loud because they're just funny. Like, it's just a funny line.
Yeah, it's cute. And I like the Colossus characterization here too, where he's still struggling, where he's just like, you need to give up before I lose control and actually kill you. Like, that's not my goal, but I will, you know. There's also all these Doombots around from when they first showed up. We don't get to see the fight with the Avengers and X-Men versus the Doombots, but Colossus is tossing them like grenades, and they explode like a grenade as a design flaw, which I really like.
It's very funny. Yeah, and then it's pretty much over as he punches, as like Spider-Man like slings a Doombot at him, at Colossus, and Colossus punches it back, and you know, half of Spider-Man's suit is off, and he's just not able to withstand this at all. And of course, at the end, he stands up and he's like, well, if you're the unstoppable Juggernaut, then I have to be unstoppable too. And then gets the phone call like, hey, we're leaving. We know where Hope is. And he's like, okay, bye. Yeah. I'm out of here.
Moments before Colossus squeezes his head and crushes it like fucking Oberon. You know, like he was going to die. Yeah. Good little fight.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. This comic isn't about that. It's just about fun little fights and quips and Juggernaut wrestling with being, or Colossus wrestling with being the Juggernaut.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not too deep on any of that stuff. So
no. Next issue is going to be Magic versus Black Widow. That sounds fun to me.
Yep.
And then the Thing versus Juggernaut, which I feel like we've already seen that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm into this Colossus Juggernaut.
It's the one. It's my one blind site right now because I've read most of the big X-Men stuff leading up to Avengers versus X-Men, but I haven't wanted to dip after that since we're doing this, since we're doing the podcast. But I still don't understand. I still haven't read where all of this Juggernaut and Colossus stuff happened. So I need to go find where that is and read it soon. So
yeah, I would also like that. I need to find that out myself. Yeah, and that's the comic. That's the issue.
That's it.
That's the episode.
And that's the episode. If you guys want to support us, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv is the best place to do so. Ratings and reviews on various podcasting services, telling your friends, posting about us on social media, photoshopping Gary and myself into just weird comic book panels, and then sharing those on Twitter.
Idris Elba and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah. I want to see some Met Gala stuff of me and Mads Mikkelsen and Gary and Idris Elba.
You get into some weird racial stuff when you start photoshopping my face onto Idris Elba's.
Oh no, I was gonna say like as couples. Like I would be going to the Met Gala with Mads Mikkelsen, and you know, as he is.
Oh, got you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, yeah,
that's fine. No, I'm not asking anybody to blackface Gary for a Photoshop joke.
Yeah,
please don't do
please
that.
Don't. Yeah, do not by any means do that. Just do all those things. You know, the things to do. We appreciate you. Range reviews, telling your friends. And we'll be back in a couple days with Wolverine and the X-Men.
Bye, everybody.